Hello, it's lovely to see you here. My name is Diana, and today we are going to be looking at how to heal your relationship. So this is a timeless pick a card tarot reading, and in a minute you will be shown 4 piles of cards for you to choose from. And the topic of today's video is about relationship and about healing that relationship. So this could be a reading for you if you are currently in a relationship that is facing some challenges and you might wonder how to fix that. Is there a solution for your problems? Basically, you want to improve your relationship and you know that there is something that needs to be healed. So this could go a bit deeper, so this could be a bit deeper reading, and it could touch upon some painful emotions, some painful aspects of your relationship, because anytime we or even our relationships are in need of healing, there is some pain that needs to be dealt with. So this could be the case for you today if you feel that this could be a video for you. So the type of relationship concerned here could be anything from romantic relationship, maybe it's about your parents, maybe it's your brother or sister, or it's your friendship. So the nature of the relationship is not really specified. It could be anything, but I assume that most of the time it will be about romantic partnerships, since they are the ones that really cracks us open the most, and everything that's inside us, all the darkest corners of our soul, is being exposed by that other person. So yes, this is what we are going to do today. And before I go on and show you the cards for you to choose from, I just want to remind you that this is a general reading, and I will be tuning into the overall energy of your relationship. So it's not specifically about your personal experiences, and it's not specifically about the other person's, your partner's personal experiences. If you would like to have a reading in such a depth, then you must ask for a personal reading. But this is a general reading that will be tuning into the general energy of the relationship, because whenever two people come together in a close partnership, then they kind of form the third entity, which is the relationship, the interaction that takes place between them, and how their individual energies interact with each other and what they create as a result. That is your relationship that I will be tuning into today. Please keep that in mind, and also remember that in order for your relationship to be healed, you both need to work on that. It's virtually impossible for one person to do the healing while the other person doesn't want to change at all. So your free will and the other person's free will must be exercised with regards to do the work to heal the relationship. So again, this is just an insight on what could be going on, but if you want some specific details, if you want to see what is your personal path here, what you could do, your personal opportunities and challenges and obstacles, then again you need to have a personal reading, okay? But now, without further ado, let me show you the cards so that you can go ahead, pick your message, and hopefully have some great insight as to how to heal your relationship. Okay guys, so this is the choice that you have today for this reading. This is pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. Take some time, pause this video if you need to, and pick the pile that speaks the most to you and that resonates the most. And then take a look at the description box below and go ahead and go straight to your reading. Hello and welcome back. So this is your reading. If you picked the first pile of cards, let us take a look at your cards. What is going on for you? And here you have the Knight of Pentacles. Well, this is the Nicoletta Ciccoli deck, so it's not really the traditional artwork of tarot. And then you have the Page of Swords. You have the World, Judgment. You also have the Two of Wands. And finally, Six of Air. Okay, let us have a look at your relationships and how you can heal them. Well, what immediately stands out for me is that your relationship could suffer, if that's the best word, the right word to use in this context, from being restricted in some way, and you could be feeling that you are locked up in a small room with each other, and that may be causing some problems for you, or even a lot of problems. I'm drawn here to this World card, where there is this girl inside this ball, this glass ball, and basically the boundaries of her world is really small, and she can look outside, she can observe, because this is a glass wall, she can observe what's going on the other side, but her world is still inside. And then we also have this card, the Knight of Pentacles, and whatever is going on here takes place in a room. So your problem, or maybe the root cause of your issues, of your relationship problems, could be that you may be holding on to each other too tightly. And what it does, it actually makes you focus on each other's weaknesses. Because what I'm also drawn towards is this, I don't know if you can see that, but there is this candy, heart-shaped candy, and it says, hate me. So you are sort of together, but you are then also maybe even punishing each other for your flaws and for your weaknesses, and you are really pointing it out to each other that this is your weakness and this is your flaw, and this is how imperfect you are. And since you are both restricted in this tiny room that you have created for yourself, for your relationship, then you are constantly in the presence of your own flaws and weaknesses being shown to you, being pointed out at you. And what it does, it eventually makes you resent the other person, because they are the ones who are showing it to you, who are constantly telling that you lack this and you lack that, and you are not good in this way and you are not good in that way. So you start to resent them, but then you also start to resent yourself, because you realize that perhaps they are right, and perhaps they have a point, and perhaps their opinion is really valid, because you still care about them. They still occupy a very important part of your life, and you still love them, or you still have this commitment, or this interaction between you which matters to you, irrespective of the nature of your relationship. So if they have a point, then perhaps you are truly that weak, and you truly have that flaw, and you are truly that imperfect. And so you can start even to resent or hate yourself. And then it just bounces back and forth between the two of you, because you are both mirroring each other, and you are both showing all those things to each other, and you kind of also want to, perhaps it's the case that you kind of also want to resolve that and to fix this issue, but then you cannot do that because you keep bouncing back and forth between the same thing over and over again, and it kind of builds up the tension between you. Actually, the tension between you could be pretty big. There are some indications here in the cards that point towards that. So it could be that you get easily angry towards each other. There could be a lot of passion involved if this is a romantic relationship. Or there is this this fiery energy that is released between you, and so the tension builds up inside and it needs to be released, and it's very hard to release that properly because simply there is no space for you to do that, so you kind of flash out on each other when it's too much, and perhaps then everything dies down a little bit and you take a step back, you have vented, but then it starts all over again, it builds up again and it bursts again, and so that could be that cycle that you find yourselves in this relationship. There is really this feeling that you are pretty close and pretty intimate with each other, but there is really a part of you, the energy of this relationship, there is a part of that relationship that is really choking in this current, under those current circumstances that you have created. And actually, the most important thing that your relationship needs in order to heal is freedom. You need to let each other go. By that, I don't mean separation, I don't mean breakup, even though that could be a possibility, or that could be your decision that you both agree upon, that perhaps parting ways could be the option for you. But definitely, irrespective of the nature of your relationship, it is super, super important that you give each other room to breathe and that you explore the world beyond the boundaries of your own little world, of your own little bubble that you live in. So that is definitely something that your relationship needs in order to survive, in order to keep growing, and in order to heal in the first place. I also want to talk a bit about this judgment card. So definitely you have what it takes to outgrow and to learn from your current relationship and the current situation that you are in. The judgment really encourages you to do that life review, to see where you have been, what you have been through, what you have learned, what challenges have you faced, how you have dealt with them, and how you have grown as a person as a result of all your experiences. And then it also encourages you to think about your present situation and where you are currently, what's going on in your life, and how it projects into the future. What would you like to have? What is the course of action that you have already taken? Do you like it or not? And if not, then what would be that future you would like to have, both for yourself individually and your relationship? So it's time for you to do that, to really come together, if that's possible, and think through everything that you have experienced, everything that has happened and that has brought you to where you are currently with your partner. And then you can decide what to do next, what steps to take, and how to be. Judgment is a sort of a wake-up call. Wake up, you must change something about your life. And now is a very good opportunity and a very good time to do that, because you are ready. Whenever judgment appears, you are ready to take that leap and to take that step into the unknown and to change and to grow and to learn and to wake up to a new and better reality. So your relationship needs that. It is ready for that, and it is up to you as those two individuals that are involved in this relationship to take care of that and to ensure that you both keep growing and evolving in this relationship, because as I said, the room you are in has become way too small for you to ensure that growth. What is important for you is free self-expression. And this is that point of your relationship when you both need to develop yourself individually. Because perhaps you have been in such a close contact for such a long time, and you have mirrored those weaknesses back at each other. Perhaps you have even started to think and believe that this is basically everything that you are really bad, maybe that is even that association that you have created for yourself in the context of this relationship. So now it's time to go out there and explore how to explore your positive aspects, to develop yourself individually as a person, and to really work on your personal identity. This card, the Page of Swords, it reminds me of free self-expression. You say you are able to speak your mind, you are able to do it freely without any fear of being attacked or criticized or put down by other people. So this is really that freedom of your expression, and you really need room for that. There is such a light energy, such a light and dynamic energy with this card, and definitely it invites a lot of free and open space in your relationship. And also here, this Six of Air, it's actually pretty similar to that. You can see that there is a ship that's floating up in the sky, and there are a lot of birds flying around the ship freely. And again, it's about flying. It's about finding your wings, spreading your wings, and allowing yourself to fly. If you cannot find that sense of freedom inside this relationship, then you must go out there and create it for yourself. You must find a way to be free. And as I said, it could be like a mutual agreement between the two of you that is something that you will allow each other to do. You will give each other more space, you will spend more time separately, and you will keep developing your own hobbies and interests and work on your own stuff individually. But it could also mean breaking up. Perhaps you realize that you need to move on to something new, and that nothing you can do will fix this, and you won't be able to get past that maybe resentment and guilt and blaming each other. So it's better for you to just go separate ways. So again, it depends on you and your relationship, how it will play out for you, but definitely you need more freedom. And actually, by this Two of Wands card, and there is this bird ready to fly with his wings again, spread and all ready to go, and there is this fire behind. So I do think that the more you allow yourself, both of you, to develop your individuality and to explore your own interests and really make the life interesting for you, each other individually, the more you will feel drawn and attracted to each other, because you will find that passion for each other again, but now in a much more healthy way. It is not going to be like we are tied to each other, like shackled in with each other and locked up with each other in this small room where there is no air to breathe. It's not going to be the case, because you will have this huge space between you where to release your energy, where to release that tension, and to do it in a healthy way. And so you can just you may even find out at the end of the day that the more you give each other time and space, the better your relationship becomes. So this is your message, and this is what your relationship needs in order to heal. you need to work on that resentment, and you need to work on the way you look at the other person. But first and foremost, you need to work on yourself. You need to develop yourself individually and develop this strong sense of self. This is who I am. This is what I like. And this is what I don't like. This is what I do. And this is what I don't do. This is how I spend my time. And this is what matters to me and what means a lot to me. And this is what I want to create in my life. And once you have set that for each of you, then you can come together and see how that interacts and what is the new relationship that you are able to form. Okay, so this is your message, group number 1. I truly hope that you found something helpful in here and that your relationship with your loved ones will flourish. And I'll talk to you soon in my next video. Bye bye. Hi and welcome back. So this is your message if you picked the second pile of cards, and you have the 6 of Swords, the 3 of Wands, the Queen of Cups, the 7 of Coins, Temperance, and you also have the Ace of Air. Well, healing your relationship, group number 2. It could be that there is a part of your relationship, of your common experience, that has ended or died in some way. So this is symbolically speaking, but there is some area or some aspect of your relationship that is no longer alive. It could have happened as a result of an actual event. Maybe you suffered a loss, like a real loss in your life. Maybe it was one of you or both of you. This is a general reading, so there could be many different scenarios for different people, but yes, it could be that your relationship has suffered because of your individual losses or something that has happened in your life. Or it could also be that this has been brought about simply you living your life, but you know that change in life is inevitable, and perhaps that's a natural progression of your relationship. Maybe the initial attraction and chemistry and passion, if this is a romantic relationship, maybe that has ended in some way. Maybe it's no longer there, or you have changed as individuals, and that change that has taken place within you individually, that has taken away something from your relationship. And now you feel that there is an important aspect that was once there but is no longer there, and you may be grieving over it. Here I'm drawn to this 6 of Swords card. You can see that there is a girl sleeping in a coffin, and she's moving through this water, and there are all those toys around, and something has been really broken down here, and maybe even some tragedy have taken place here. And indeed, you are kind of transitioning through this scenery of devastation and broken down things, and the reality of life, how it once was, is gone. It is no longer there, and it could be very painful. And again, as I said, it could be as a result of your own personal experiences as individuals, or it could be something that is going on within the context of your relationship, how it changes naturally over time. Because also here you have the 7 of Coins card, and this is all about longevity, about something that is unfolding over a long term. And sometimes when this time passes, we can see really the rewards for all the efforts that we have put in. But other times, though, we just don't see that. And we see that things are simply not growing, they are not blossoming, and we cannot receive the fruits of our labor, or we cannot have our expectations realized and fulfilled. And that there could be some pretty strong disappointment with that when you no longer feel excited about the way life is and about the way your relationship is. So perhaps it could be like that. Perhaps you have hurt each other as a result of how life has been. Maybe there is some strong feelings, some strong emotions that have built up inside, but you have not found a way to express them directly to each other. Maybe you haven't heard each other. You have not been able to listen to each other. And that perhaps has caused one of you or even both of you do something to each other to show you that this is how I actually feel. So maybe there are some emotional needs that have not been met in your relationship. So all sorts of things could be going on for you. But what is also seen here is that actually it's a natural process and it can be healed. It definitely can be healed, group number 2. And my indication for that is this card, the 3 of Wands. You can see here this girl with blue hair lying in the coffin. And here again you can see a girl with the blue hair, and she's up in this tree with her wings, and she's like an angel, and there are those roses. So she has kind of resurrected herself. So if she symbolizes that part or that aspect of your relationship that has gone away or that has been destroyed, it can be resurrected. It can definitely be healed. And what you need for that is true compassion for each other and ability to forgive. It's when you can communicate with each other, not mentally, not intellectually, but through your heart. When you close your eyes and place your hand on your heart, and that is how you attempt to feel the other person, to feel into the other person, you develop compassion and empathy for them. And you are able to step into their shoes and start observing things from their perspective. And then you can understand and at least get a better understanding of why they acted the way they acted and what could their experience be. What have they felt? And what are their current experience and their current feelings? So if you are both able to do that for each other, basically you realize that whatever happened is actually a gift for your relationship, because now you are able to bring it to a new level, and you are able to come closer to each other and be even more intimate and more closely connected with each other, because you see that your relationship was able to survive this. Maybe it's not even that dramatic, maybe nothing that bad even happened, but simply there is some minor disappointment and some minor discomfort going on. Even then, this could be very helpful and healing for your relationship when you are able to talk to each other through that heart space and really listen to how the other person feels. And the Temperance card is about bringing balance back into your relationship. Balance and healing. It's like, again, water. Here in this card, you could see everything that was once there now being ripped apart. You really witness that. But here, the water has covered it all. It is no longer there, and there is this peace and serenity that comes with it. And it is not to say that you need to suppress things or drown things somewhere deep so that you never ever see them and hear anything of them again. It's not about that at all. This is about genuine healing that takes place when you go over what happened and when you realize that there is indeed a potential for that dead aspect of your relationship to be resurrected and brought back to life in a new quality, that it's fine, that you are okay, and that you are not destroyed as a result of this, that you do have that power and strength within to wake up and to heal and to listen and talk to the other person really from your heart. And that perhaps will be the first time when you really, really listen to each other. And that will bring some new and maybe even exciting understanding in your relationship. Here with the Ace of Air, this is the Ace of Swords in the traditional tarot, and this is about clear knowing what to do, and it's about understanding of what happened. You no longer hold any confusion about anything. Everything is clear to you and you know what is the best course of action, and it's a sort of like a victory. This is a solution to the problem that we have finally found. This is that answer that we have been looking for, and that knowledge, that knowing that we have been looking for. And the healing of your relationship requires that. And having this clarity will by itself heal your relationship. It will restore the harmony, because you will both have a renewed understanding of each other and of the situation or everything that has taken place between you. Perhaps it was one event, one occurrence, something major that happened. Perhaps it's an accumulation of little things, little daily things that kept happening over and over until they created something massive that has now caused this disruption in your relationship. So whatever was the case for you, by having that genuine compassion for each other, you can find that renewed perspective and that new clarity, and realize that it's not that bad at all. Because what matters here is that connection and that peace that comes with that connection. And you can feel safe in the other person, in the presence of their heart, in the presence of their experience. And that is really what your relationship needs in order to heal. Okay, so this is your message, group number 2. I hope that you liked it and found it helpful. And I would also like to remind you that even though I can give you a message of what your relationship needs to heal, remember that you both need to agree on that, and you both need to have that commitment to healing and to change. You cannot do it yourself. You can work on yourself by yourself alone, but then it will change the whole dynamics here, and it could be a completely different story. So again, think about that, be careful about that, take what resonates with you and see how you can apply it to your life. And I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you soon in my next video. Bye bye. Hello, I'm glad to have you back. So this is reading number 3. And you have the Death, the 3 of Pentacles, then you have the Temperance, the Magician, you have another Death card, and the 8 of Earth, which is the 8 of Pentacles in the traditional tarot. Okay, I really want to go to those 2 death cards first, since obviously this is super important for your relationship. So Death is all about major transformation and major change that is taking place. And what it could mean to your relationship is, of course, it could be several things, but as an example, I could mention that perhaps there is something about your relationship status that is changing. For example, you were once lovers, but now you are married. Now you are husband and wife, so you need to take on more responsibility for each other. Or perhaps you have recently become parents. Or perhaps your friendship has grown into love. Or maybe you are, if this is not in a romantic context, then perhaps you are a parent and your child is now grown up and ready to leave your family home. So, or perhaps one of your family members is moving out, and that is how your relationship has changed. But basically, it could be something about the way your relationship was that has now changed on a major scale. Or it could also be that you have experienced something individually or even as a couple in this relationship that has brought about this major transformation. So it could be your relationship that has shifted, or it could also be some external influence or something along those lines, or maybe something that has affected you individually. And now it has also created some inevitable change in your relationship. And the challenge for you is to face that and to see how to overcome that. And perhaps that is precisely why your relationship is in need of some healing. Because whenever the death is present, it could also bring with it some pretty difficult emotions to deal with. Because we need to kind of shed our old skin and we need to leave our old selves behind. And with that, we need to also leave everything that has been familiar to us and everything that we have considered to be ourselves, to be our identity or our possession. We need also to abandon that and leave that behind, because we cannot take it with us in this new reality that has now opened up. And sometimes we desperately try to do that and it's not really working out. We understand that we need to change and adapt, but it may be hard because we may lack hope and faith and that inner strength necessary in order for us to do that. So this could all be going on for you, and that could be that difficulty and that challenge that you could be dealing with currently in your relationship and even as an individual's taking part in this relationship. But what I also sense here is that you do have some pretty strong connection between you. It could be that you have been able to create some good teamwork. You have found a way to really collaborate with each other, and you trust each other. You could be the best friend for each other, or it could also be that you are very responsive to each other's emotional needs, and you kind of intuitively sense and understand what the other person needs, and you also act in a way that meets those needs and expectations of the other person. Or it could also be on a more practical level that you help each other out a lot and you have each other's back, and basically you can trust in each other. You have this strong connection, and you could be kind of facing this death situation together, and you are trying to overcome that. You are working individually on your emotions, and you are trying to find a way to make it work for you. And I think that is precisely that very positive aspect of your relationship, that you have this faith in you being together, or in that connection, or that link that connects you. you know deep down that this is something that is very, very important to you, and you are ready to do what it takes and whatever is required of you to make it work. I'm coming to this temperance card, and for me, it creates this impression of really being in love with the potential of something, if that makes sense. And being in love, and by saying being in love, I mean that you feel it in your heart. You have this maybe even otherworldly, intuitive hunch or feeling that there is something more, that there is something that you want to hold on to, something you don't want to let go, something about your relationship that is deeper than everyday interaction, that this surface level mundane life, that there is something deeper. And that gives you that hope that whatever situation has taken place, you can heal it, you can make it better, and you can improve. You can have that path back to each other, and you can really find a way to make it all work. So definitely that is the good news for you and for your relationship. And indeed, the magician. This is basically creating miracles. This is about resourcefulness, about, again, as I already mentioned, faith, having faith and self-belief. And actually, this having faith, having belief in a possibility of something is crucial, and maybe even the number one thing you need in order to create something. In order to bring about that manifestation or realization of something that you truly desire to have, you need to have faith in the possibility of that. Because if you don't believe that it is possible at all, then you won't take any action, right? You will just sit in this belief that, oh, but it won't work, then why would I bother, and why would I even invest myself into this thing? But you have this magician card, so indeed you have this belief in each other, in your connection, and whatever was between you before this death came, in whatever shape and form it was for you. So indeed there is enough resources in you as individuals and also in your relationship to grow, to flourish, and to create that new reality that is now adapted to the new situation, to whatever has emerged after this ending, indicated by the death card. And how you do that, I think that this card, the Eight of Earth, is giving you advice on how to live your life from this point on, and how to keep healing your relationship. You just live your life. That's simple. Eight of Earth is the Eight of Pentacles, and it is all about doing the work. It's about the little things, the daily, the mundane things, your daily habits, everything that you do every single day. It's about paying attention to details, reading the small script, and really thinking about that, focusing in on the little things and on the details. So for you, it may mean creating new habits. If the death card has taken away something about your relationship, how it was in an everyday setting, then now it's time for you to create new habits and new everyday life with each other. So as I already mentioned, if somebody has moved out and now you are interacting over this long distance, then you adjust to it. You create new habits with regards to this new reality of yours, and you find a way to make it work between you. Basically, you live your life and you don't think of this as anything dramatic. Yes, this thing has happened. Yes, Maybe some disruption took place, maybe it was scary, maybe it was unexpected, and maybe it was a shock, but you have everything you need to overcome that. And you simply go on and live your lives and you adapt to the new situation. That is the advice given to you by the cards, by your message. And indeed, it is not about drama. It is not about focusing in on this, I don't know, tragedy or the loss or the negative aspects of it. You just don't focus on that. You acknowledge that it happened, and perhaps you had your emotional response to that, and perhaps something happened in your relationship as a response to that and to the other person, but you don't let it overcome you, and you don't live in that confusion and that chaos that was created by this ending. You go on and live your life. You find a way to work on improving your life every single day, and this is indeed about those daily rituals and things that you do every day. The way you communicate to each other, your daily habits that you do individually, how you spend time together, how you spend time separately. How will it be all set up for you after this? And perhaps after a while, you will be surprised about how beautifully and smoothly everything has changed and adapted, and that it wasn't that hard at all. Because again, with the Magician card, you have everything you need in order to heal your relationship. So in this case, the healing requires you to not focus too much on the wound. Focus on the solution and be patient. Hold your expectations low, but it's not to say that you need to do that because you cannot expect to have good things happen to you. No, not at all. It's because by putting your expectations low, you simply do the work that is necessary, and you are present in your current life, in the present moment that you are in, and you work with what you have, and you do the work. You basically get the work done, and that is how things unfold and how new and new opportunities come your way and how your relationship heals. You will be fine. So this is your message, group number 3. So I hope that you found this message helpful, and really you will be fine. That is something that you must understand and must take home from this. You got more than enough resources to get over this. I'm happy to say that to you. Okay, so I'll talk to you soon in my next video, and bye bye. Hello and welcome back. So this is your message if you picked the 4th pile of cards, and your cards are the 10 of Cups, the Ace of Swords, the 9 of Cups, the 6 of Wands, the 8 of Cups, and the Ace of Earth. Okay, so how do you heal your relationship, group number 4? You have quite a few of Cups cards here on the table, so there could be a lot of emotional aspects involved in your relationship and what could potentially be wrong with it. And when I look at your reading, I have this feeling of instability, and something is kind of uprooted. It's like hanging in the air and it's not grounded. And that could be at least partly that could be one cause of the problem here. Pain and pleasure, that is how the nature of your relationship feels, or the deeper emotional pattern of your relationship feels that way. Pain and pleasure. And perhaps you both don't really understand how to deal with that, how to fix that, and perhaps you don't want to go into those emotions because they confuse you, and perhaps it's about you individually. It's your own stuff that it's being brought into the relationship, and that is why it feels so shaky and unstable in this reading. But you do enjoy each other's company. The Nine of Cups, it's about pleasure. It's about having some good time and really indulging yourself in those good things in life. So, yes, there is this girl and the gingerbread man, and they are having a bath in this bowl, and there is some honey pouring from the air above, and there is a cupcake as well. So the life is sweet, the life is very nice, and you really enjoy each other. There could be a lot of pleasure that you bring into each other's lives, and that could be one of the main things that keep the attraction going. It simply feels too good. Being in each other's presence feels too good to let each other go. But for some reason, you also have this Ace of Swords here, and this is a difficult card and some difficult thing to deal with, because there could be some pain involved, and there are some painful truths that you don't really want to admit to. And as I said, it could be your personal truths. Maybe there are some traumas that you have endured in your life separately from each other, but then again, the consequences of that is strongly felt in the way you interact with each other and in your relationship. And because of that, you kind of feel the need to protect yourself, and that may be preventing you from taking a step further and perhaps sealing that commitment and being more committed to the other person. You kind of always look for an escape route. You are looking for your way out. If something doesn't work, if something just falls down, you don't really want to deal with that. There is this feeling that you or the other person, you are really resistant to dealing with difficulties and to finding solution to those problems and difficulties. So you tend to focus on the good things, on the pleasure, but you don't want to deal with those other things that are inevitable in any relationship. If we are truly close to somebody and if we spend enough time together, sooner or later something will come up. Something that will not be a pleasure at all. We will see our own shadow reflected back by that other person, and it happens inevitably every time we are in a close, intimate relationship. Especially if we have that shadow. We all have, but some of us have bigger shadows, and some of us have scarier things hidden in those shadows. And that is why we also attract partners that remind us of them, because we all want to become whole subconsciously. That is what we all eventually want, and that is basically how things are set up in this universe. Our subconscious wants to be known, and that is the direction that our relationships go. and you tend to want to escape that. This Eight of Cups, it's about those emotional attachments and connections that on one hand they may keep us in the past, but on the other hand they make us feel that we have no future, that the past will keep repeating itself, and that we will have the same experience over and over. And perhaps we have decided at one point that we don't want that, and the best way to deal with that and to cope is to avoid that. It's like a decision of yours. I like this person and I like those things, to do those things with them, and I want to focus on that. And it's kind of like a trophy relationship for you. So it has a certain place in your life. You have put that relationship, you have given that relationship a certain status in your life, but it's very limited in so many ways. You kind of don't want to deal with the difficult stuff, and whenever it comes up, your response may be immature in some way, or perhaps it's the other person whose response may be immature, or perhaps you are able to argue with each other for a while, but then you just cannot find solution for your problem. You cannot meet each other halfway, you cannot find common ground, and then your usual thing to do is just to escape, to find something else to focus on, something else that will give you that feeling of pleasure and support, and basically that is how you have trained yourself to behave whenever something challenging comes up in your relationship. But the healing part, what your relationship needs in order to heal, is to be more serious about it, about your relationship and about the other person, indicated here by the Ace of Earth. This is an opportunity for physical manifestation of something. So there is a seed in your relationship that could be planted into a fertile ground and that could grow into something big, something major, and something beautiful, something that will bring some beautiful fruits to you and safety. It's a very important thing that also comes with this Ace of Earth and the potential that is inherent with this card. It's not only about pleasure, it's also about safety. You will no longer have to look for ways to escape or to avoid something. You no longer have to fear those past emotions and those past scenarios to repeat themselves, because you feel safe in this relationship, and that you know that you can trust the other person, and vice versa. You are able to provide safety for this other person to be themselves and to trust in you, and you have each other's backs. So that is the course of healing that your relationship could take, group number 4. But there is one more thing that I'm aware of for you, group number 4, and it is that it could be quite a big challenge for you to settle and to pick that Ace of Earth and this opportunity that your relationship has for healing, because indeed you will need to face your fear in order to give in to the other person. And also your partner will need to do the same if they are experiencing this, and if they are the ones who are avoiding something, that they need to face their fear, and instead of going away, they need to choose to move closer to you with their fear and see how you respond to that, and how you provide that safe space for them to be fearful. So it's also about growing up, it's about emotional maturity, and it's really about developing skills to support the other person, but also to support yourself. yourself when you feel vulnerable, and when all those emotions and those past scenarios to repeat themselves, because you feel safe in this relationship. So it's also about growing up, it's about emotional maturity, and it's really about developing skills to support the other person, but also to support yourself when you feel vulnerable, and when all those scary and fragile emotions are coming up and reminding you of something that you have never been able to overcome and fix. Somehow you must find faith that it's possible to fix them this time. Indeed, your relationship is kind of floating in the air. It's very unstable. It's nice, it's sweet, but then it's not necessarily real. And the Ace of Earth is inviting you to consider this opportunity for making it real. It's about real commitment to the other person. Getting serious with each other, taking each other more serious, and also finding space in your life for them, for their stuff, and being able to deal with that they are now present in your life and you cannot really avoid. Whenever something breaks down in their life, for them individually, it will be also your experience, and you cannot draw a line and say, okay, I don't want you if you don't bring me pleasure, if you bring me those scary emotions. It's not about that anymore. It's about choosing to let that other person in. And also it's about choosing to enter the other person's world in a way that is now, that basically they now become one. So that is your challenge, but also your opportunity to heal your relationship. And by healing your relationship, you will also heal yourself. There is a tremendous potential for healing for both of you here in this message. So again, I want to remind you that this is all up to you. You have your free will, and also your partner has their free will, and you must act in accordance with that. You must take into account your partner's free will, but then you also must look at your own stuff and what you want, what is the best for you. And that is how your relationship will evolve. Okay, so that's it. This is your message group number 4. I hope that you were able to get something helpful out of that and take some message with you and maybe apply to your life to improve your relationship with your partner and even the relationship with yourself. And I truly wish the best for you, and I'll talk to you soon in my next video. Take care and bye-bye.